It is time for 4th level spells. We're going to go over my favourite 4th level third party spells, so at least we're past the 3rd level third party thing, because that gave me a bit of a headache. In this video, I will be showing off my 10 favourite third party spells from the things I own. I do not own everything, so I cannot judge everything, but I might reinvest the money that's trickling in from YouTube, and I do mean trickling, so that I can own more stuff, because, you know, that's fun. Anyway, without any ado, let's go ahead and get onto the bonus pick. This time around, the bonus pick is one which I actually do own, but it's also one which my group has all agreed collectively that it needs to be nerfed, and we have nerfed it. I'll go through it. This is Stormdoor from the Book of Ebon Tides. This is an action to cast and it lasts for 10 minutes, and it reads, crackling with lightning, you teleport up to 120 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Each creature within 5 feet of both the space you left and your new space must make a dex saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 1d12 lightning damage and half as much on a successful one. During the duration of your spell, you can use a bonus action to do the same thing, again, which is cool. That bit is all fine. If you are outside, however, when this happens, a storm develops within a minute and follows you around. Under those conditions, the damage doubles to 2d12 and the distance also doubles to 240 feet. That is still not the issue with the spell. The issue is that if you use a spell slot of 5th level or higher, this is a 4th level spell, remember, a creature of your choice can come with you. The ability to blitz around for 10 minutes, which is 100 rounds, which means there's 100 instances of this with an ally, is in fact really silly. So that was the nerf we made. You cannot take other people with you. It just seemed like the best and simplest way to fix it and balance it. Plus that way Dimension Door is still worthwhile as a spell. Otherwise this just completely trashes it. Anyway, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into the actual list. We're going to kick off with Aura of Impurity, which is a Helliana's Guide to Monster Hunting spell. This is an action to cast. It lasts for a minute and that requires concentration. Enervating energy radiates from you in an aura of a 30-foot radius. Until the spell ends, the aura moves with you. This is an emanation. It just wasn't made when emanation was a thing. Each creature of your choice that enters the aura for the first time on its turn or starts its turn there must succeed in a charisma saving throw or become drained until the end of its next turn. While drained, a creature must roll a d4 and subtract a number from each ability check, attack roll, or saving throw it makes, and any hit points a creature regains are reduced by half. So this is Bane Plus, and it follows you around. It's just a really cool spell, and the fact that it invokes multiple saves gives it a better chance of succeeding than Bane always does. I just like it. It's cool. Next we have Call of the Wild, which is a Crooked Moon spell. This is also an action, and there's also concentration. You release a primal howl that calls lesser creatures to your command. Each beast in a 100-foot emanation originating from you when you cast the spell must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a target has the charmed condition. So this is every beast within 100 feet of you can end up charmed by this spell. It can understand your commands and follows them on its next turn to the best of its ability. On your subsequent turns, you can take a magic action to issue a new command. On a successful save, a target has the charm condition until the start of your next turn, but you have no additional ability to command it. The howl is audible within 300 feet. It's just a cool way to, summon, a bunch of rats into a fight. This is a vibe pick rather than a strength pick, but vibes are important. From Crooked Moon to Grim Hollow, as so often is the case with this year's books, this is an action to cast and it lasts an hour, no concentration required, and is called Consume Mind. You consume the brain of a creature, gaining access to its memories. The creature must have a brain and can't be undead. The spell fails if the creature has been dead and not preserved for more than 3 days. Until the spell ends, you can attempt to recall a memory, such as family history, recent events, building layouts, passwords, details of the creature's death, and similar information. To recall a memory, you must take a magic action and make an ability check using your spellcasting modifier. The DC equals the corpse's intelligence ability score, so this is usually going to be pretty easy to succeed on. Once you take a magic action to recall information, you can't attempt to recall that specific piece of information again. This is a fantastic roleplay spell. It's a little dark, obviously. It's a necromancy spell, so it makes sense. But again, I really like it, and I think this is a really fun roleplay spell. Next up is another Grim Hollow spell. This time it's Dark Sacrament. This is an action to cast, and it is instantaneous. You must have a dagger encrusted in jewels worth at least 100 gold pieces to use this, but it does not consume that. As part of casting the spell, you must expend 4 hit dice, or the spell automatically fails. This is one of the Sangromancy spells. Make a melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of you using the material component of the spell. On a hit, roll the hit point dice expended to cast the spell plus 4d8. So you get 4d8 plus most likely 4d6, or 4d8 I guess if you're a warlock. Is it warlock's got d8? I think so. You deal necrotic damage to the rolls total. So you're rolling 8 dice for this, which is a sizable number. If this damage causes the creature to be reduced to 0 hit points, it immediately dies, and you gain one of the following dark blessings of your choice. When you take radiant damage while you have one of these blessings, you take an extra 1d4 radiant damage. You can get advantage on all saving throws, you can get bigger, basically the enlarged spell, and you get a bunch of temp health equal to your constitution modifier, which isn't bad. Your proficiency bonus increases by 2, that's going to be good. Those are the 3 options. The Dark Blessing ends after 10 minutes or when you're reduced to 0 hit points, and the initial damage goes up by 1d8 for each spell slot you use above. This is a super niche surgical style spell, and I really like the specificity in it. I like the different blessings you can get. You could theoretically use this 3 times to get all 3, and I just think it's neat as a result. Back to the Crooked Moon now for Intrusive Despair. This is an action that lasts for a minute and it requires concentration. You curse a creature within range, filling its mind with a creeping paranoia and despair. Note that there's no save on this. It comes in a minute. Whenever the target takes an attack or magic action, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or waste its action. Once the target succeeds on 3, the spell ends. I really like the design of this spell. The fact that it just works and then disappears if the creature succeeds enough times is a really fascinating play space, and the kind of thing I really wish more of the first party spells would play around in these more novel and entertaining design spaces rather than it just generally being suck or save. Yeah. Next is Knife of Fate. This is another Eventide's spell. You need a silver knife for this. You speak a word of binding and point your dagger. A creature you can see within 60 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target's fate is bound to one random ally of the target. Any damage or condition the target suffers is instead inflicted on the individual to whom they are bound, and vice versa. A creature can be bound to only one other creature at a time. The spell lasts until the affected creatures gain a level or are targeted by a heal spell or partake of a Hero's Feast spell, lifting the binding. Those are some seriously niche conditions to be lifted, very player focused in terms of how you get rid of it, but it's just a really interesting spell in much the same way the previous ones were. Honestly, the 4th level spells that I've picked here are generally interesting rather than just outright powerful. I like this a lot. Maligned Weapon is from the Illrigger Revised, which is a class I've yet to play or have any of my players play, and it is one I'm really interested in. I just haven't had chance. You imbue a weapon you touch with an infernal blessing. Until the spell ends, the weapon extinguishes any mundane sources of light in a 30-foot radius. In addition, attacks made with the weapon deal an extra 2d6 damage on a hit. If the weapon isn't already a magic weapon, it becomes one for the duration. As a bonus action on your turn, while holding the weapon, you can end the spell early, causing it to emit a burst of dark energy. Each creature of your choice within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw, and on a failed save, a creature takes 4d6 necrotic damage and is frightened for a minute. On a successful save, it takes half that and isn't frightened. At the end of each of its turns, a frightened creature can make a wisdom saving throw, ending the effect on themselves in a success. I kind of like that this just targets a specific weapon. I think it fits really nicely with great weapon builds rather than just dual weapon builds. Sure, if you're hitting twice, obviously you get more use out of Hunter's Mark, but if you're hitting a couple times with the Greatsword, then this is going to get more use out of it, basically. And I think that's really an important bit of design. I think something that modern D&D doesn't do especially well is incentivize hitting once and really, really hard. It's obviously the vibe with rogues, but I don't think rogues do it as well as everyone wants them to. And there's very little incentive for other classes generally to not take the dual weapon fighting vibe, especially if you've got a spell like Conjure Minor Elementals, even though it's been, fixed. So, yes, good spell. We are back with the Crooked Moon again. Sacrificial Siphon. This is an action to cast and concentration for a minute. You touch another creature and lay a curse that drains the target's vitality and transfers it to you. The targets must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the target is cursed for the duration. While cursed, the target must subtract 1d4 from its attack rolls and ability checks, and when the target takes damage, you can take a reaction to regain or gain 10 temp health. On a successful save, you still gain 5 temp health, and the target must subtract 1d4 from his ability checks until the start of your next turn. Again, I like this as an interesting version of saving on the spell. Sanctum of the Shepherd is a minute to cast, and it lasts 24 hours. You create a 20-foot radius sphere of faint shimmering light centered on a point within range. You and a number of creatures of your choice, up to your spellcasting modifier, can absorb protective magic from the sphere. When any of the chosen creatures finish a long rest in the area, the sphere vanishes, and those creatures gain a +1 bonus to AC for the remainder of the duration. Chosen creatures who don't finish a long rest in the sphere gain no benefit. This just lets you bump the AC of some creatures up by 1 for 24 hours, and it's a sick spell. It's not overly powerful, it's powerful enough, especially if you're casting this on a fighter and a paladin, things like that, and it incentivizes kind of doing this ahead of a rest instead of during it. It's a spell built for that, which I love. And finally we have Supernal Smite, which is Grim Hollow again. This is a bonus action to cast because it's a smite. You take this immediately after hitting a creature with a melee weapon or unarmed strike. Your strikes cause ambient magic surrounding a creature to collapse and detonate. The target hit by the strike takes an extra 4d6 force damage from the attack. If the creature is concentrating on a spell, the concentration is broken. There is no save on this. In addition, each ongoing spell of level 3 or lower on the target ends. For each ongoing spell level 4 or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spellcasting modifier. On a successful check, the spell ends. This is an anti-spell spell. It's perfect for mage hunters, which is obviously a huge theme in Grim Hollow, and is just generally a fantastic spell. So yes, that's it. I feel like this one was shorter. Maybe I breezed through the spells too quickly? I don't know. Might be because I'm recording this on a Sunday and I'm tired because it's been a week, as it has every week. You all know what I mean. Anyway, that's not the point. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. We only have 5th through 9th level spells left, and then I guess I'll do feats, or maybe species, or summon. I haven't decided yet. Either way, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Do take care, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.